Hi, this is Plague Warrior, and I'm here today to talk about something that I watched on a Comics Perch video. I really like his videos, very informative. I enjoy the business aspect and also just like hearing him talk about comics. He's a lot level-headed, and I enjoy that. One thing he mentioned was that if X-Men, giant-sized X-Men #1 was released today, that people would call it woke. And I can kind of agree with him and disagree with him. I hadn't read it in a while. I went back and reread it just now, just to get an idea for it. I think you have to think about the times in which each one would be placed in. The reason why that is if you look back when giant-sized X-Men was done, this was done from a book that wasn't doing good in sales. X-Men, if I remember correctly, was on the verge of cancellation. It was a second, third tier book. Ever since Stan Lee and Jack Kirby left, hardly anybody ever read X-Men. And so in order to shake up the sales and things, they had to shake up the team and get new members in there to try to boost sales and make it a book that would actually sell well. So, whereas I think nowadays, even if X-Men were selling great, which, if I'm not mistaken, they're still like a best-selling book at Marvel. They're one of their best franchises. It would be done regardless, not to boost sales, but just to be more diverse and inclusive. And the original team would be made out to be incompetent. So, do I agree with him that some people, I think, take this a little too far, and anything that is done is considered woke? Yeah, but also there's a lot of crazy stuff that has happened in comics that I do consider woke. Just as a simple, gag type thing, I thought, well, how about I actually redo X-Men #1? I'll give a brief summary of it and say this is what my idea of a woke giant-sized X-Men #1 would be. So, hope you like it. And don't forget to go onto my website, zinecomics.com, and check out my comic Forerunners. Thank you. Like and subscribe. If you don't like it, well, you're probably a snowflake. Just kidding. So it starts off just kind of like the original giant-sized X-Men. Villagers are chasing down Nightcrawler, and in this instance, what happens is, all of them are trying to chase after him because he's a freak and looks like the devil. But what's going to happen is when he jumps down into the crowd, like in the original comic, he's going to, we'll say accidentally, that's probably a better way to put it. He accidentally kills someone, and Professor X will come up to him and say, well, it was okay, it's okay that you killed this person because he was a bigot. And so Kurt's going to be like, it's going to wash over Kurt and say, oh, you're right, it's okay, let me go join your X-Men team now. Wolverine will not be appearing in the comic. Well, he might appear, but reject the job. No, I think he should not appear. And Professor X instead goes to the first appearance of X-23. And I know that's way earlier than what, her first appearance, but just roll with it here. And he's going to go to X-23 and say, hey, I thought about getting Wolverine, but I know you're his daughter, and I've heard you're so much better than him in every single way possible, and so I decided upon you instead. And she's going to agree to join. Storm is going to mention how evil white people are. I can't forgive the evils of what white men do, but I'm just going to show that I'm better than you and join the X-Men. Colossus, when Professor X goes to Colossus, he's going to mention, or Colossus is going to say, well, capitalism is evil and is wrong, and I'm going to go join your team to show how much better communism is, and try to input communism into every part of the world. Then when they get down to Proudstar, Proudstar, actually, when I read that part, I was like, oh, maybe Perch was right. Because when he's talking about, hey, the white man stole my land and stuff or white man stole Apache land, I was like, I think people would have a problem with this today. So that was an interesting one. But like I said, I think it's, sorry, I'm diverting here just a smidge. I think it also is like, and I'm not sure during the time period of when Giant-Sized X-Men came out, what else was going on in Marvel Comics at the time and the world at the time. Because you can't view everything in just a bubble. So you have to ask yourself, was there anything else going on? Because nowadays, if this was going on currently, Spider-Man would be replaced. Captain America would be replaced. Iron Man's dead and replaced. You would have the people that creating these things going out and bad-mouthing the customers, calling them bigots and things. And like, it's not just everything in a bubble that this comics, it's everything else around us. And I think just people are just tired of hearing, how evil they are when they don't feel like they're evil. They don't feel like they're a bad person. Like, hey, I'm just trying to buy this book and read and enjoy some escapism. Whereas back then, like I said, now I'm not sure. This was probably just a one type thing. I'm not sure. Was this in the 70s or the 80s? I'm not sure. And it was just a one type of. Anyways, sorry. Done with the tangent here. Let's get back to the story. So, Proudstar is right, and instead of saying like Professor X will go and apologize and work out some deal to get back his land from the evil white man. When they get back to the mansion, Professor X says they got their costumes from Reed Richards, just like the original. However, he's going to mention that he would have preferred to get it from Moon Girl because, she's a lot smarter than Reed Richards, but she was busy at the moment, so he had to get the substandard Reed Richards costumes. Scott Summers would be kept powerless because I read in the comic he loses his powers for just a little bit. But he would have been kept powerless and kept ineffective throughout the entire issue. Now this one's going to be a little bit controversial. Like I said, I'm doing this just out of fun and gags, just for the comedy. Don't take it seriously. Banshee would have come out as bisexual in the middle of the comic. Just randomly on the plane as they're heading towards Krakoa. The old team would have proven to be, when they go and save the old team, the new team goes to save the old team would have been proven totally ineffective. None of them they would not have been released and helping trying to defeat the island. They would have just been like, oh, all our powers are drained. We weren't even able to do anything anyways. New team, you go handle the whole thing. And the new team would have not had help from Professor X. They would have been able to handle it all on their own, as Screen Rants likes to put it, super easy, barely an inconvenience is what would how the new team would have handled trying to beat the island. And then as they go back to the mansion, the old team would have said, "Wow, we're total chumps, total losers. We weren't able to do anything. Nothing that we ever did in the past mattered. As a matter of fact, here, new team, you're better than us in every single way possible. Please take over. We're totally helpless." And like I said, I'm embellishing this a little bit, but after some of what you've seen from 2016 in comics on, you have to ask yourself, well, how much embellishing it really is there? Some of it might have actually happened. But that is my comedic take on what a giant woke-sized X-Men number 1 would be. I'm doing this, like I said, all in good fun. Just for fun and gags. So, hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and hope you have a great weekend.